evening, good afternoon, my American brothers and sisters, and anyone else watching from around the world. We host Afakasi Raider. To my right, I'm pointing the wrong way again because I always mix it up. We got Ont6, and I got my boy Raider Solo joining us one time. What's good with you, fam? How are we all this evening?
Pretty
Wonderful,
good.
man. Wonderful. What's good?
Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. It's been a minute since Raider football is finished, and haven't really been doing much live content of late. But you know what? I thought it's about time to get back on the scene on my own channel and say hello to everybody on the Raider Nation side of the fence. So what's good with you? So just a few salutes to everybody in the chat. We got Robert in the building. Nice to see you, my man. Anthony,
up?
good to see you, brother. Thanks for pulling up. We got Benther, Raider Ben. Good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. I saw you doing your game stream. Anybody who hasn't already, but I see all the names, I'm sure you're all follow and subscribe to Raider Ben, but that's my guy right there. Who else we got? We got Leo Chitalanus.
Leo.
Good to see you, my friend. TRS, brother. He's another one. If you guys could show him a like and a subscribe, that would be appreciated. Good to see you in the feed, my friend. As well as Raider Critique, my brother.
My brother.
Critique, my dude. That's my dude right there. He's another content creator. Anybody who hasn't, can you please go and show his channel some love and chuck him a subscribe while you're at it. Carlos, it's been a minute since I've seen him on my side of the fence. Good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. And we got Circus. He just entered the building. Circus, good to see you, my friend. What's good? What's good? All right. Well, look. First things first. Ont6, how you been, brother? It's been a minute since we've shared the live together.
I've been good, brother. You know, I can't complain, man. Just same old shit at work. You know what I mean? A little hectic, but besides that, life is good. You know what I mean? My family's good. My friends are good, so I can't complain.
It's the way, my man. And same question to you, Raider Solo. What's good with you?
Same thing, brother. Just trying to work, trying to take care of business, and you know, keep up with this Raider content as usual. You know, got a lot of stuff going on with the nation right now. We got a whole lot to talk about.
Right. And we'll talk a little bit about it before we get to the topic at hand, which is we're going to do a season review segment shortly. But I guess we'll just spitball first about there's only really the coaching situation to talk about, right? And I mean, I haven't really said anything on my own side of the fence. So, and good to see you, SoCal South. Good to see you in the feed. Hope all is well. Well, we'll go with you first, Solo. How are you feeling about the coaching staff hirings as of today?
You know, same as the last coach hiring. We was just, looking forward to something new, something different, something that can produce wins. So that's how I'm feeling now. I don't really know too much about most of these guys, but I'm trusting in AP because that's who I wanted and that's who I got. So I'm trusting in the process that he's gonna hire the right guys and we're gonna, make the right moves based upon just him being a great leader.
For sure. And what about you, Ont6?
For me, I'm not gonna lie. I've been happy with all the coaching hires. The only one I was a little mad about was the Cliff Kingsbury deal when he agreed to be the head coach and he backed out the last minute.
Right.
But the way to look at it, now after a couple of days after it happened, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to the Raiders. Because at the end of the day, I want people and coaches that actually want to be a Raider. They need to understand what it means to be a Raider. You know what I mean? I don't want to find out like a year or two from now that he never wanted to be here and he just took the job just to take it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? And I wish him all the luck and shit, but he's not here, so I'm not gonna talk about people that are not Raiders, like AP said.
Yeah, right. For sure. Great, 100%. And salute to you, real man. Good to see you in the feed. And thanks for joining the chat feed. Hope all is well with you, brother. Yeah, it was annoying about Kingsbury. I mean, I remember I watched a few of college football games back in the day when I believe he was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M when Johnny Manziel was there, and watching those games was pretty much box office TV, whether that was him or whether it was a combination of him and Manziel, whatever. Right. But I liked what I saw then, and I did actually watch a few Texas Tech games when he was their coach and Patrick Mahomes was their quarterback. I liked that air raid style that they had there. But you know what? I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. Like, he's not a Raider. We got, what's his name? Luke Getsy.
So
I mean, it was a little bit of a red flag, being that like the Bears haven't been doing too well these last couple of years. But when I thought about it, it's like, look, I mean, Devontae Adams went into bat for the guy, and that for me is, I'm willing to settle for that. Give him a chance. Hopefully it turns out. But Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham, they're my two guys that I wanted in the door by any means necessary. And the fact that we retained Antonio Pierce, and it looks like Patrick Graham's going to stay. I mean, that's all I wanted. You know what I mean? And we got that Telesco guy as our GM from the Chargers. We'll see what he does, but I couldn't be happier with who we have at head coach. Like, this is a complete 180 as to how I felt last time we went through this with our last regime. We don't even need to go there, but Antonio Pierce, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He is my silver and black captain of the silver and black Seas, and I think just give him time and he will get us there. I'm not asking him to get us the Super Bowl straight away. I'm not asking him to do this, that, and the third straight away, but in time, I have all the confidence in the world, and I'm really willing to bet my Raider fandom that he will get us to glory. Right. It's just a matter of time.
I agree, 1,000%.
All right, well, look, is there anything else you want to spitball about? Otherwise, we could just get straight to what we were going to talk about. For sure. Well, I'll read out some comments first, and then we'll get into it. Circus, salute to you, my guy. I'm petty. I'm praying Cliff's Thailand emails get leaked. I'm going to put a star next to that comment.
Circus, that's a good one.
Nice. I love it. Hated the Getsy hire, but I shitted on Graham for a year, and he showed something. Yeah, me too. We both shared the same sentiments, but now we've done a complete 180. So glad he proved us wrong. And he shows something. I can be patient with Getsy as long as he shows something. Exactly. Like, I'm sure he'll do well. We just got to give him a chance. We got nothing but the Raiders podcast in the building. Salute to you, Darian. Hope all is well with you. Good to see you in the feed, my friend. Again, if anybody could share out their channels as well as Protect the Shield. Chris, good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you. You're doing some big things on your side of the fence. TRS, brother. Another one of our Raider Syndicate members up in the building. Good to see you. And Space Beast, salute to you. Afakasi, I'm here for the Victoria bitter. Now, that's just a stereotype, my friend, but I appreciate the sentiment. All right, well, look, let's just get right to it. So I'm just going to change the layout. So just give me a mo. All right, so this one here. Go this one here. And boom. There we go. All right, so this is how we're going to do it. We got like all these topics here, or all on the screen, on the share screen. So the first 5, we're going to give grades, and then we're going to throw out some names with the ladder topics, and then we'll give a final grade. I mean, look, when we're giving out grades, it's going to be like a school-based system. We've all been to school. We know how it works. A+, D-, whatever we feel. We're just going to throw it out there. So what say you guys? You ready to roll or what?
Let's do it.
Let's roll.
All right. So we got Rafa in the building. Want to say hello to him first before we
Good, Rafa.
continue with proceedings? Yeah. Good to see you, my friend. All right. So we're going to start with offense. And I'll start with you, Raider Solo. What grade would you give our offense last year?
Man, with an offense that finished probably bottom 10, bottom 5, I believe, I can only give them I'm not going to give them an F, because we did score the 63-point game, which was the most points in franchise history. So I can't give them an F, but man, I don't think I've ever seen an offense struggle this bad as they did. So I'm going to give them a D. Not quite an F, but that offense was horrendous in my opinion. So I'm gonna give him a D, man.
All right, just gonna put that up on the screen, and all eyes. Good to see you in the feed, my friend. Good to see you. So we're gonna Solo gives it a D. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you guys see that, chat? Hope it's not too small. On6, what say you?
I mean, if you would ask me, I would have to divide this up before. The Josh McDaniels, when we had Josh McDaniels, I think this offense was freaking horrible. You know what I mean? It was supposedly somebody who was the offensive guru. You know what I mean? And that's what he was brought in here for. That was one of the worst offenses in the league. And as soon as AP came in, it got better. I'm not saying it was the best, but between it being where it was and where it ended in the season, I will have to give it a C. You know what I mean? Especially too, Aiden O'Connell was never supposed to start this year. He was a rookie quarterback. He was supposed to be our third string. He was never supposed to see the field. You know what I mean? He did everything he can. He had more wins than Derek Carr did his rookie season. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but the thing is, I did see a lot from AOC. And with that being said, I'll give this offense a C.
All right. And salute to you. I see you in the building. Chronicles of the Black Hole. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Good to see you in the feed, my friend. Hope all is well. Oh, that's OG Daniel.
Yeah,
I don't think I've forgotten anybody else. All right. I'm going to have to go with... Yeah, it has been it was a major disappointment grading the season as a whole offensively. I mean, other than that game where we scored like 60 plus points, that being the highlight of the season, and a beatdown that we hadn't had for a long time since the Jets game back in, no, it wasn't the Jets game, the Broncos game back in 2010. So that's how long it's been since I've seen a beatdown like that. We've won games, but just never a complete domination. But outside of that, I mean, with the firepower we had for the last season, even going back as last season, like our offense should have and could have been a lot better. I mean, we had an offensive guru at the helm. It was supposed to take us to new heights, but that didn't pan out right. Our quarterback situation was very disappointing. I mean, Aiden O'Connell did the best he could with circumstances, and he did okay. But outside of that, it was disappointing. I'm going to go with D+. And that needs to be better moving from this season moving forward, right?
Has to be.
Of course it has to.
Well, we're going to go to defense now. So same question.
You want to run with me first, or how you want to do this?
Yeah, we'll go with you first again.
All right. Cool. You know, this defense was actually better than I thought they were going to be. We started off the year. We last year we was bottom 5, bottom 10 in defense. It was the opposite way around. So it's to see this defense jump all the way to the top, top 5 in defense. So, and as far as opponents' points per game, not giving up a lot of points, I have to give this team a B+ on defense. I'm not gonna give them an A+ because it's a lot of games where they, didn't give maximum effort. But I can only give them a B+ at this point. Max did his job. Malcolm Kuntz showed up. Jack Jones was a surprise player that we didn't see coming. He came and showed up. Trayvon Merrick, Nate Hobbs, they all, played excellent this year. Meek Robinson, he played good. So I'm gonna give him a B+, man.
B+?
Yep.
All right. And chat, if you want to share out your grades, that would be appreciated as well.
Please.
All right, Ont6.
I mean, me personally, oh man, this is real tough for me because this is one of the best defense I've seen in years that we had, man. It's up there with that vaunted top 3 defense we had with Stu and them boys back in the days, man. But to be honest, if I had to, I would probably have to give it an A. You know what I mean? We did finish in the top 10 at the end of the season. You know what I mean? Once AP took over, you know what I mean? It was literally night and day from when Josh McDaniels. I just felt, honestly, that Josh McDaniels was pretty much handcuffing his team because as soon as he left, AP just told Graham to do what he does, and he let them boys eat. And then once he did that, man, it was just a whole different team. So me personally, I'm giving that defense an A.
Nice.
I was a heavy critique of Patrick Graham last season. I wasn't impressed, especially with the hype that he came in with. I mean, I'd heard it all before, every season. Paul Gunther. What was that cat we had last time before we hired Patrick Graham?
Gus Bradley.
Paul Gunther.
Gus, Bradley, and every other name. It's always the same thing, and it just doesn't pan out as well as what we'd like it to. However, what they did this season, under circumstances, I mean, it definitely blew away my expectations and turned me from being a heavy critique to a big advocate of Patrick Graham. And also the defense. I mean, with all things considered, like it wasn't, as Leo put it in the chat, a high budget defense. We didn't spend that much money on that side of the fence. Granted, we used quite a bit of draft capital in this year's draft, but for what they did, and like a lot of these games where we were right in it was due to the defense keep doing their thing. It definitely exceeded my expectation. Where did we rank overall in the season?
I want to say somewhere in the top 10. I want to say somewhere in the top 10. I can't say exactly, but somewhere in the top 10 for sure.
If somebody can look it up in the chat and let us know, please. That would be great.
For sure. You know, it probably would have been better had our offense been able to produce more and stay on the field. So,
right.
You know what? With all things considered, they definitely blew my expectations out of the water. I'm going to give it an A-.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Special teams. Our kicking unit and return game, as well as defensively. What say you guys? Maybe I'll go with you first, Ont6.
Me personally, going into the season, I was a little worried because we got the new holder. You know what I mean?
All right. It's good, man.
Yeah, our long snapper, the new guy. You know what I mean? From New England or Denver, where the fuck he was from. And since we had that core 3 there for a couple of years, you know, I was worried, especially him coming in the season. So I'm glad we didn't have no holding issues at all or snapping issues. As a kick returner, I think we could have been a little bit better, but you know what I mean? It's the best kick returner we had in Carter in years back there, you know what I mean? He's no Jacoby Ford, you know what I mean? But he did his job, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, given that we did have a Pro Bowl punter, you know what I mean, and AJ Cole representing us, that means this special teams using it was pretty good. So I'm gonna have to give this A+.
Oh, A+.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big grade. All right, Solo, talk to me. 99.
Well, I honestly, I might have to agree with him because you know, that's one area we don't have issues. We always have a decent punt game. You know, I remember with King, we had a good punt game. I mean, it's that area has never been a weakness, in my opinion, for us. It's just always been the other places. But I have to agree, A+ because AJ Cole, you know, one of the top kickers in the league. So, you know, and DeAndre Carter, I was hoping he would break out and give us some Devin Hester-ish type stuff, you know, but it never happened. But, you know, he gave us hope, you know. So going forward, I say that's something we don't have to have a concern about. So I'll give it an A+.
Just going to read out this comment by Circus. Special teams gets a B+ for me. Cole was great, but Colson was on and off this season. You know what? I'm going to have to agree with that one. I mean, AJ Cole, he was actually All-Pro, so he was the first choice punter. Had an amazing year, did his thing, consistently put them inside within their own 20, 10-yard line, always giving our defense a lot to work with. So he did his thing. Shout out to him. Colson, he went through a period where he was a little off. Like, and I want to stress a little, but concessions, he's always been money man Colson when it mattered. And he was hurt during that time when he was a little off. So I'm going to give him some passes there. Bobenmeyer, our new long snapper. I mean, I kind of liked Sieg, but, you know, he did okay, I guess. Yeah. Our return, you know, I was actually a little underwhelmed with Carter. I was hoping we would do a little bit better than what we did. I don't remember him breaking it off and getting like big runs consistently. Or we didn't have a return touchdown for the season. So a little bit disappointing. I'm hoping that can be a little bit better. I'm actually hoping Trey Tucker takes that job and makes it his own, but he never really got that opportunity from memory. But the coverage team, I thought, did exceptionally well. Shout out to my guy, DJ Turner, emerging on that side of the ball. I mean, that's something that gets overlooked, and I want to give him his flowers. I mean, that guy, for me, has been the best gunner we've had since the days of Taiwan Jones. Seeing him flying down the field and making that first tackle and even causing a fumble and a recovery during that Chargers game. So shout out to him, a very underrated name on that side of the fence. As a whole, I'll give it a B+.
Okay.
Just because we didn't break off any for a touchdown, and Carlson had some off moments, but for the most part, it's been an area of strength. So more of the same, as you said, Sola. I mean, that's special teams, especially our kicking unit, has always been a point of strength going back to the days of Leckler and Sebastian Janikowski, and then Marquette King continuing the legacy. We only really had that one flux period where we had like Tavecchio and who was that guy we drafted in 2018? Townsend. Huh. Sure, that guy.
I could.
Worst punter I've seen, not just for the Raiders, but on any team. He stank. And then we snapped up AJ Cole, took his job, and has been running with it ever since. But now we got AJ Cole and Daniel Carlson, for me, the best kicking unit in the NFL. And continuing the legacy of always having, even when other areas of our team has been deficient, that's always been a point of strength by that one season. All right, so this is where things are going to get interesting. Coaching. All right. And Sam Tanker, good to see you in the field, my man. Hope all is well. All right. Well, I'll take the floor.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, please.
I don't even want to go there when it comes to what we had in the first half of the season.
Let it go.
With McDaniels, to me, one of the biggest disasters the Raiders have ever had at the head coaching position, with all context and consideration with where we were at when he took over. And it was inexcusable and unacceptable the way we nosedived this team and was just sinking deeper and deeper into the abyss. It just wasn't good enough. And it got to the point where it was so bad, it was a full-blown revolt. And we got him up out of here. Thank Christ oh my God. Yes. Thank the heavens above we made that move when we did, because I couldn't take it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, I'd never felt the way I felt about Raider football. Like, I'm always going to support the team. I'm always going to watch Raider football week in and week out. But like, it just, the aura I was getting under his leadership, I hated it. I hated him. He was never my guy. I gave him a chance only because he's our head coach. I'm going to give everybody a chance. You know what I mean? Hoping they can prove to be the guy. I said it before we hired him. I didn't want him. We had him, and it turned out to be just as bad, if not worse, than anybody could possibly imagine. I mean, it's so bad that players, literally days within his firing, they're dancing, they're smiling, they're laughing in the locker room. Tell me when you've ever seen that from any team in the NFL once a head coach has been fired. It's always usually a somber mood. They're just, trying to regroup and that. I have never seen scenes like that. You know what I mean? And if you couldn't see that from a mile away, then you really cannot read the room. You know what I'm saying? So McDaniels, thank Christ he's up out of here, and it brings us to Antonio Pierce. And I've already shouted my praises of the guy who he embodies to me what the Raider way is. The hell with that Patriot way. We're the Raiders. We're our own identity. And if anybody embodies that, it's definitely him. I haven't seen somebody at a head coaching spot who embodies it more than he has in my time as a Raider fan. And it's like I said, give him time. He is going to lead us to the promised land. The hell with Jim Harbaugh. He's not our coach. He's with the Chargers. Fuck him. Antonio Pierce is our guy. And I believe he's going to get us there. And for what he did last season, with all things considered, I was impressed. And I'm glad that we've retained him. Patrick Graham impressed me on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, just didn't get it done. My camera's bugged out, so I'm going to have to back out and back in when I get the chance.
Yep.
Special teams, did their thing. But overall, sorry to go on a bit of a rant. Like, I'll give it. God. I'm going to have to give it a D+.
Okay.
D+.
Being the disaster, the absolute calamity that was Josh McDaniels. And Patrick Graham and Antonio Pierce bring that up significantly, but that's all it's going to bring it up to as a D+ because it was a disaster of epic proportions. I'm just going to back in. I'll come back in. So just give me a moment, okay, guys? But you go and shoot Raider Soldier.
So, starting this season, I mean, going back into last season, going 6 and whatever we went. We only won 6 games. It was already a sign for me that he was going to take this team nowhere. Josh McDaniels, we all know what he did. We all know he never was a capable coach. He's always been an offensive coordinator. He's always been a guy that drew up plays, but to lead men is not the same as coaching, drawing up plays. It's not the same. I think this was one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in the history of me being a fan. I've been a fan since 2010. So I've seen some coaches, but he has been the worst coach I've ever seen. Just his nonchalant attitude about how he goes about things and, just killing Aiden O'Connell's his psyche when he put him at emergency quarterback over Brian Hoyer and Jimmy Garoppolo, and bringing Jimmy Garoppolo in. It's so many things I could just touch bases on about how awful he was as a coach, but thank God for AP coming in and saving the day because this team was going straight to hell with this guy. So,
right.
with the balance of AP coming in and cleaning up this man's trash, I would have to give the grade probably a C- because we almost made the playoffs this season. I can't ignore that. We was one or two games short of making the playoffs, and AP came in early in the season just to try to clean it up, and I think he did a great job. So I'll give it a C- on the coaching.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with you there. I'm going to maybe bump up my grade just a little. Just because of Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham.
Right.
All right. Ont6?
I mean, first of all, I just want to take a second and shout out all the stupid morons that were shoving Josh McDaniels down our throats for 2.5 years and making every fucking excuse for Josh McDaniels, saying Josh McDaniels has 22 excuses, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. Josh McDaniels doesn't have his coaches. Josh McDaniels doesn't have his quarterback. Making all these fucking excuses. And at the end of the day, we really realized how much of a horrible head coach Josh McDaniels is. Just by this 2 games that we played against the Chargers. The first game against the Chargers, we had Aiden O'Connell start. What did Khalil Mack go off for? Fucking 6 sacks. He wants to go on a press conference after the game. Oh, we were double teaming and chipping Khalil Mack the whole game. What are you guys talking about? When clearly us Raider fans that were watching the game clearly can know that you weren't doing that shit. But you were not even going to do that and protect your rookie quarterback at all that game, right? But what happened the second time, what's up, Westside, that we played the Chargers when we had AP? You know what I mean? We actually had a game plan, and we scored the most points ever in franchise history. You know what I mean? Not in day. You know what I mean? But still people want to be trying to jump on the AP bandwagon when the whole time they didn't even want this guy. They were over here trying to fucking suck Jim Harbaugh's dick and saying that his dick measures from one end to the other side of the fucking table and shit if he was to whip it out and shit. Like, what does that got to do with anything, bro? Well, seriously, what does that got to do with anything? What does AP getting this job with it had to do with Compton or his 6'4"? What does that got to do with anything? Everything that matters to me is what he did with this team. He turned this completely around the season. He had no offensive coordinator, no quarterbacks coach, no offseason, nothing. He literally turned this team around. And the most important thing he did that a lot of Raider fans are going to be thankful, because this is one thing that gets me annoyed every fucking year. The stupid penalties. We were one of the least penalized teams in the league under AP. And that means this team is more disciplined, believes in him, and they're going to go out there and fight for him. Not Josh McDaniels. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's what I think some of these fucking content creators were over here saying, oh, I don't want AP as our head coach. He's too cocky and confident. Well, I want a head coach that's actually a fucking man that's going to make me believe that I can do anything. He's going to put me in a position to play my best football. Look what Josh McDaniels did to Malcolm Kuntz. What was it during the preseason? He threw him in the doghouse. What happens now after fucking AP takes over? He's over there fucking getting a couple of sacks and doing everything he can to help this team out. You know what I mean? It just amazes me how all these people still trying to fucking make excuses for fucking Josh McDaniels. At the end of the day, he's a horrible fucking coach. He can't lead men. He's an offensive coordinator. What do you think? The only reason he even got a head coaching job is for Tom Brady. Let's just be honest, everybody. They just keep it real. Name me one offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator from the Patriots that has won without Bill Belichick or Tom Brady. I'm waiting.
I say Tom Brady.
The Lions tried to do this before they hired the guy they have now. They hired Matt Patricia, Bill Belichick's little butt buddy, for a couple years. How did that work out for them? They fucking got rid of his ass, and they got Dan Campbell. Something that was, a Detroit Lion back in the days that knows what it means to be a Detroit Lion, a former player, and that's what we did too. You know what I mean? This team is gonna be fighting for AP, and at the end of the day, I agree with you guys. It was a little rocky in the start, but where it was in the beginning of the season to where we start, I'm gonna give the coaching a C+.
All right, C plus.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Just before we proceed, since you would like to take a moment, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 10-second moment of silence for that old regime, McDaniels. And if you can, chat, I see you all in the chat. If you can spam your coffin emojis. I got the Undertaker theme playing in the background. We're gonna take a moment of silence for McDaniels, the Patriot way. I didn't hate Ziegler so much, but he's part of the parcel. So
yeah,
let's just take a moment of silence for McDaniels and all this bullshit fuckery, and hopefully that never gets seen again. And I'm going to turn this volume right up. So 10 seconds, guys. Spam those coffin emojis. All right, that's enough. We can move on. R.I.P. Patriot Way. May you never come back. Fuckers.
Ever.
Anyway. Ever. And salute to you, Raider Twan. Good to see you in the feed.
What's up, Twan? Shout out to the congregation.
Shout out to the congregation indeed. Good to see you, my friend. All right, so we'll give a grade for our rookie class. I mean, look, granted, it was only one season, but I thought it'd be a bit of fun just to give a grade for them and how we feel they produce as a whole collectively with their first season. So what say you, Solo? How do you feel about the rookie class this season, and what grade would you give them?
Well, I'm gonna give them some grace because you got drafted by an asshole and you didn't know what to expect. So, because we had some decent players. When you got a person that drafts you that don't know what the hell to do, it kind of makes you look like you're not as good as you're supposed to be. So, we all know what Michael Mayer did in college. We all know that he's a pretty good player. I really did like Trey Tucker. I really did like who can I say? Well, hold up. What's that tackle name that we drafted? What the hell happened to him?
Nesta Silvera.
No.
Byron Young.
He's from Alabama. Was he from Alabama? Young.
Byron Young.
What the hell was that about? So, this draft class as a whole, Tyree Wilson, I can go on all day about this.
Right.
I think that's the worst pick we could have went with. I don't agree with the pick at all. I know a lot of people saying give him some time. He may develop. Listen, a number 7 pick has to play immediately. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So
right.
I think we picked some decent players though. So, and under the regime that we was previously under, I probably have to give these guys a C.
Straight C?
Straight C, man. I can't give him no better than that.
All right, gotcha. All right, I'll go next. I got to be honest, like I have high hope. I had high hopes for this draft class. I still do. It's only been one season, so we got to give him time. So this isn't just an overall grade. I mean, as is the case with rookies and sophomores, they need time to develop and turn out to be the players that they can be or cannot be. I think 3 years is a fair assessment of seeing where a player is at. And there goes my sign once again.
Mm-hmm.
But coming out of their first season, I got to be honest, I was pretty, for the most part, underwhelmed with this draft class. I mean, Aiden O'Connell did his thing under circumstances. I mean, he was thrust into a situation he wasn't supposed to be in year one and did the best he could. Whether he's our guy moving forward, time will tell. But I thought he did okay. Michael Mayer showed flashes of potential, especially with his run blocking was very impressive.
Yes.
I would have liked to have seen him getting more involved and catching a few more balls, but like, I guess, the lack of targets wasn't really there, but his production was a little bit underwhelming. Like, I mean, we've drafted guys in yesteryear a lot later who produced a lot more in their rookie season. I'm looking at like Rivera and even Clive Wolford, and look at how they panned out like in the long run. So I'm betting that Michael Mayer will turn out to be better, but his rookie season, it was okay. Can't say it was good. Trey Tucker was another pleasant surprise. I thought he did some things, but again, like, I mean, it's still early days, and he's a good role player. Whether he can be more than that, I don't know, speedster that can take it over the top and get the ball in that. Like, time will tell, but he showed some flashes of potential, and I was happy to see that. Jacorian Bennett, I thought, started well, but then he started to fall off and he started to lose snaps and reps. And I mean, first year rookie, so we'll see how that turns out. But some of the other draft picks was very underwhelming and didn't really get a chance to show their wares, whether they didn't earn it or they just weren't good enough. Like, Nesta Silvera guy, I thought, I was high on. Byron Young, you were just talking about him, barely saw him on the field. Christopher Smith didn't even see a snap as far as I can recall.
Never seen him.
Didn't even see him. Tyree Wilson, to your point, like if you're drafting someone 7th overall, you don't pick in the top 10 for a guy who's a role player or a decent guy. You draft there for a guy who's hopefully a game changer and a centerpiece for your team on whatever side of the ball. And he underwhelmed for me. We moved him to defensive tackle where he produced better, but still, like, he's not like, I don't know. I want to see a second year leap. If he's going to move to defensive tackle full time, or we're going to move him back to end or whatever it may be, I want to see better from Tyree Wilson. And I'm going to give him concessions. He was injured as well before the season, but again, like when you pick at number 7, you really need more. And I don't want another Cleve Farrell type pick where it's just he's decent. I don't want decent. I want a good player, and I'm hoping Tyree can be that in time. But as a whole, they underwhelmed for me. We didn't get someone who was like a bullseye type pick out of this draft class yet,
right?
Like a Max Crosby or like a Josh Jacobs or a Hunter Renfro in his first few seasons. Granted he fell off, but there just wasn't that. Or even Nate Hobbs. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
he was really good in his first season. So I'm gonna give it C- just for now. But like, I'm hoping it can be better and keep trending upwards with a lot of these guys, because that draft class is very important for our future. And we really need some guys to emerge more than what they did in the first season. Anyways, Ont6, go ahead.
For me personally, I mean, before I give out my grade, I personally think there's a lot of potential in this class, and I'm only grading this going off the season of what I've seen so far. And I'm just gonna go out and say I'm just giving them a D, because at the end of the day, there was a lot of potential and a lot of hype around Michael coming out of the draft and in training camp. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? None of them were in contention for defensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year from our draft class. You know what I mean? that defensive tackle that we drafted from Alabama, what a waste of a goddamn pick. Never seen the damn field. But the thing that's funny, I don't know if you guys know, there was actually 2 Byron Youngs in the draft. The one from Alabama, and there was another one that the Los Angeles Rams drafted, I think in the same round as us, but that guy had 9 sacks. Imagine if we would have drafted that Byron Young and we had those 9 sacks in this offense and defense.
Got the wrong damn Young.
You know, we got the wrong damn Young, and it just pisses me off because I love the draft. You know what I mean? I love the draft, and that's how dynasties are built and great teams are built to the draft. And that's why I'm being so hard on this draft class, because there's a lot of potential there from Tyree Wilson all the way down to Bennett. You know what I mean? They just got to get coached right and be better put in better positions what they're good at. And that's something I know the next coaching staff is going to do. But from just going off from last season, I'm just going to go give them with the D.
Okay.
Next. And you were talking about like defensive tackle. I mean, how many defensive tackles have we taken in the last few years? And none of them have panned out to be the guy, and I'm getting sick of it. We've taken 4 alone in the last 2 draft classes. You could even say 5 if we're going to throw in Tyree Wilson in there. You know what I mean? And none of these guys have emerged to be that guy who solidified the role. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. Got to be better. We got to find an interior guy, whether he's on our roster or not, or whether it's someone that's going to be on our roster next season. Surely one of these guys got to pop. But I'm getting sick and tired of it. But yeah, I agree with that. I agree with your takes there. Guys.
Especially too, I had high hopes for our defensive tackle CO Moore, you know what I mean, but that didn't work out.
Right. Anyways, Jesse, Wilson looked good inside though, and he was hurt. Plus, no training camp for him. He has a lot of upside. Yeah, look, I'm willing to give him those concessions, and I'm going to try and stay patient with him. But as it stands, if we're going to grade out the season rookie class as a whole, including him, it wasn't good enough. And hopefully it can be better in time. It can't just always be potential this, potential that. I want to see it come to fruition rather than just being a potential guy or he's a decent role player, because that's not what you want in the top 10 of the first round. But anyways, to be seen with those guys, it's only been their first year. All right, well, we're going to get to the portion of our segment where we're going to throw out some names. So our first one is Rookie of the Year. Now, Solo, who would you give that award to?
Man.
Or at least the rookie who impressed you the most.
All right. The rookie that impressed me the most, to be honest with you, I low-key want to give credit to Aiden O'Connell, but I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to say Trey Tucker, man. Trey Tucker was a standout player. He came through in a lot of, in a few games. He remember he was dropping the ball early in preseason, I believe. And once the season started, he started getting some reps. I think he looked pretty good. I think that we got a speedster that could probably give you a deep ball threat now. So I think that's a great thing to have. You wanted somebody like a Tyreek Hill on your team. So I have to give it to him. Being that
Matt Marinovich, Luke.
I think Aiden O'Connell. I wanted to lead towards Aiden O'Connell, but I'm gonna have to give it to Trey Tucker. In my opinion, just my opinion. I think he played great this year.
Gotcha, Trey Tucker. A lot of potential there. Ont6.
Oh man, for me, this is a harder one because I really graded this draft class low, and I'm gonna have to say Tyree Wilson, just because, you know what I mean? I know he didn't put up the sack numbers and everything as much as everybody wanted to, but towards the end of the season, he was getting close, especially when they had him at a defense position. But hopefully with the offseason and him being healthy and being another year in Patrick Graham defense, he'll flourish his second year. So for me, I'm going to put him.
Just goes to sure. Go on.
Did I hear Tyree Wilson?
Yeah.
It's no way I heard that.
Yeah, you did, my brother. Yeah, you did.
Hey,
well, to that point, it just goes to show how mediocre as a whole the draft class have been, right? If he's going to be rookie of the year.
At least he seemed to feel unlike Master Chris Smith. I don't know. I was had high hopes for that guy, but so much for that.
Leo's comment: nobody gets rookie of the year. No participation awards. Facts, right? I agree with that sentiment, but if I'm gonna, for me, it's more of a who impressed me the most.
That's
with
what
all
it
things
was for me.
considered. With considerations, I'm gonna go with Aiden O'Connell.
Okay.
And I'm not saying he lit the house on fire. And it's like I said, it's very disappointing we didn't have a rookie that emerged out of the gate immediately, much like we have in yesteryears, like this year's draft, and to a point, maybe even last year's draft class. I mean, like both draft classes under the McDaniels regime, like we got some decent guys, but nobody we can say, yes, he's the guy. Maybe Dylan Parham. I mean, Zamir White came on at the final quarter of the year, but like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no real like bullseye kind of pick in the last two draft classes yet, and that's been very disappointing. But I thought Aiden O'Connell, under circumstances, he did okay enough for him to be my rookie who impressed me the most. But I agree with Leo's sentiments. I mean, it's kind of a participation award, right? Disappointing that we didn't get a bullseye type pick right off the rip, but we'll see in time how it all shakes out. So hopefully these guys and the last year's guys can do better. So yeah, and shout out to Freddie Chavez. Good to see you in the feed, my friend. Hope all is well. All right, so we'll move on to the offensive side of the ball. Offensive MVP, or if you will, who are the offense impressed you the most? I'll go with you, Ont6.
For me, it's going to be Amir, Sincere, and Amir for running for 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns. It was an incredible performance. I can't believe somebody predicted it at the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? So shout out to them. But in all seriousness, for me, the offensive MVP is not gonna. I'm not gonna give it to one player. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it to the whole offensive line. You know what I mean? It was all beat up this whole season. Players had to move different positions here and there, and for them to open up holes not for just for Josh Jacobs, but for Amir and Sincere. You know what I mean? For them to run for those 1,600 yards and the 16 touchdowns, you know what I mean? That's a lot. So for me, it's going to be the offensive line.
Offensive line?
Nice.
Yeah. Solo.
I kind of like that. But I'm going to go a different route. I agree with you, but I'm going to go a different route. It's obvious to me. Devontae Adams, man. Listen, this is the best wide receiver I have ever seen play on this team.
Right.
This guy is such a threat. He opens up. I mean, who would have thought they would have seen Jacoby Myers have a season like this? He had a great season based off of Devontae being such a distraction. It makes everybody else open. So, you know, and Devontae makes unbelievable catches. He makes unbelievable catches. He you know, he makes the game makes the game a lot easier to game plan. You know, so to have a weapon like this, we can't take this for granted, y'all. We got to understand Devontae is that guy, and he always will be that guy. We got to understand that without him, where would we be? So I know the offensive line they did play great. I can agree with you 100%, but without Devontae, where would we be as an offense? Think about that.
Right.
So if we're going to talk MVP, we got to give it to Devontae, in my opinion, because this guy is elite. So I'm grateful to have him.
100% agreed. And that's Devontae, Davante. There's some certain other content creators who still cannot spell his name right. Devontae with an O and an E on the end. Anyways, Devontae Adams. For me, he is greatness. And to your point, like, you know, where would our offense be without him? Like, granted, he made some mistakes and he had some off games and he had some off moments. But at the end of the day, he still surpassed 1,000 yards. He's still the best wide receiver that we've had on our roster since the days of Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. You know what I mean? And players like that don't come around often, especially to the Raiders. So shout out to Devontae. I still believe he has a few years left of his best, and hopefully he can find that again for at least another season or two. Jacoby Myers would be another name. I mean, he definitely impressed me as that number 2 option. But again, to your point, Solo, where would he be without Devontae if he was that guy? Can he be that guy if we move on from Devontae? Time will tell. I was impressed with him, but a lot of his success, for me personally, would be attributed to having Devontae on the other side and garnering all the attention. So I'm going to run with that. Yeah, Devontae had a little bit of an off season, but like for me, and I've said this on a few lives, I think a lot of his criticism stems from our expectation of how great he is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And even despite him surpassing 1,000 yards, there's people out there that were heavily critical of Devontae, and some people think that he doesn't want to be here. I don't share those sentiments, but you know, we'll see. But for me, yeah, he's the offensive MVP in a very disappointing year from the offense as a whole. And with the offensive line, like I thought they started the year pretty badly, especially when it came to run blocking. I'd never seen run blocking that badly.
Yes.
It was absolutely atrocious. But then it got better towards the end of the season. Once hallelujah, AP takes over and everything seems to get better, right? Who knew? Who knew what good coaching and someone who can be a leader of men can produce out of the whole team, right? So shout out to them. Touchdown Tim Brown, right? We need to draft a wide receiver after next season. Yeah, we'll see where Devontae's at. And if he starts to take a dip, then I could see that happening. But anyways, we'll move on to defense. Now, this is something that can be pleasantly debated, but not so much again at the same time. I'll go first. I mean, look, there was plenty of defensive players that impressed. Spillane impressed me. I didn't have high expectations of him, but he definitely did his thing at linebacker. Malcolm Kuntz emerged finally and proved to be better than what I expected him to be in time. And he's only going to trend upwards, I think. And that was very good to see. Who else? Jack Jones coming mid-season and doing his thing and making some plays like that. Some of those plays like he made like have been two of the best plays I've seen from any Raider on the defensive side of the ball in my time as a fan. But look, it's a no-brainer, and I think we're all going to agree with this one.
Yep.
All pro, all elite, Max Crosby, not even close.
Max.
Like the heart and soul of this, not just the defensive side of the ball, but the team as a whole. For me, like I've said it before a few times, for me, the two greatest Raiders on the defensive side of the ball in the last 20 plus years is 1A and 1B with Charles Woodson and Khalil Mack. Max Crosby would be in that conversation as well. And it's so good to see that we've got a player that high caliber, and he's going to be on our roster for years to come and keep doing his thing. So yeah, Max Crosby, no brainer.
Agreed.
Ont6.
I completely agree with you, but there's some people that would say that Khalil Mack's not a Hall of Famer and Chandler Jones is. But you know what I mean? That's another story for another day. But I would completely agree with you as well. But there's two players that we signed in free agency that I want to show some love to if we can. And that is Epps and John Jenkins. You know what I mean? They came in this season and really helped out our defense, especially John Jenkins on first and second down, just setting the tone and stopping the run. You know what I mean? And shout out to Epps being the leader on the secondary. If it wasn't for him, I don't think Amore would have took this jump big as the jump he did this year. So those are the two I want to shout out some love to.
Just real quickly in the comment section, it seems like Myles Garrett has won Defensive Player of the Year. Shout out to Clark. I don't know if that's official yet.
What the hell?
I hope not, man.
Whatever. Like, we know what we got with Max Crosby. So, you know, to have an all elite player like him, fantastic. But Max Crosby, that's your answer?
Yes, it
Should I even ask? What about you, Solo? Another by default?
I mean, we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna tell the truth like it is. Max is by far the standout defensive player on this team. It's you really, when you game plan your offense, you got to say Max Crosby in your locker room. You can't game plan without saying Max Crosby. So yeah, man, it's Max. So it's a lot. I mean, but Spillane really played well. I thought he, had a great season with his interceptions and missed a lot of tackles sometimes. But overall, I still think he played pretty good. Jack Jones, though, I really think about Jack Jones, and I say,
that guy.
He came in, pick 6 on Mahomes, pick 6 against the Chargers. I've never seen something like that, man. So I think this guy is going to be great for us going in the future. So I kind of wanted to lean towards him outside of Max Crosby. So, but I'm gonna give it to Max.
Right, can't go past Max. Maybe Max would have won the award had he not gotten hurt. Because I mean, he played the last third of the season injured, and he was still highly productive, which is kudos to his toughness. And if he'd have played healthy, he might have ran away with the award. But I mean, he lost a little bit of a step when he was hurt, and that might be what lost him the MVP award. But that's not taken away from what he was able to accomplish. Even with said injury, he was still highly productive.
Right.
But look, it's a no-brainer. We can all agree. Defensive MVP, Max.
Agreed.
All right. Offensive dud. So this is our who disappointed you the most on the offensive side of the ball? Yeah, right.
Ooh, boy.
All right, Solo. Take it away. And chat, do you want to share your answers?
Jesus Christ, man. What the hell was we thinking bringing Jimmy Garoppolo sorry ass in here? This dude, he was, listen, I didn't think he was going to play that bad, but, coming off of Derek Carr, Derek Carr, we all know he was okay. He wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. But to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo and get rid of Derek Carr made no sense whatsoever. And not even to re-sign Stiddy and bring in Jimmy G. And this guy was throwing interceptions left and right. No, no type of leadership, no nothing, man. I mean, every time he played, I was like, I didn't feel confident. I thought we was going to lose every time. I said, it's no way we really gave up Derek Carr for this guy. And if I'm going to say the worst offensive player who let me down the most this year, it is Jimmy Garoppolo by far.
Good answer. And wait, what category is this? I see defensive duds. So who or what disappointed us the most on the offensive side of the ball? So that was Solo's answer. So I appreciate that. All those Jimmy G is a winner with quotation marks, right? Yeah. Ont6, take it away.
For me, it's the stupid idiot and moron that decided to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. Josh motherfucking McDaniels. Let me get this right. So you wanted Tom Brady, right? You couldn't have Tom Brady. Let's go get Aaron Rodgers. We can't get Aaron Rodgers. All right. Who can we get? Let's go get Jimmy Garoppolo. Fucking great idea. It's like you're at the club, right? And you want to hook up with the pretty ass chick, the hot chick, but you can't get her. So you grab Big Shirley at the corner and shit, and you take Big Shirley home with you and shit. You know what I mean? That's what you literally did, bro. Not only did you do that, bro, you gave this motherfucker a big ass contract, and now we have to cut this motherfucker post June so we can save some money. You know what I mean? So my offensive dud is Josh McDaniels, the offensive guru, the one that brought out the best in Tom Brady, the one that couldn't have done it without Tom Brady. Fucking moron, Josh McDaniels himself.
God.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Well said.
And Leo's answer, you're going to hate me, but JJ, I expected more after all that contract and best running back debate. Oh, and Renfro. Yeah, well, those are good answers. Like, I can share those sentiments. I mean, Josh Jacobs, I mean, there were games where he started to find his mojo again, but it was definitely underwhelming for what we expected, which is disappointing. And if we keep him, hopefully he can find his mojo again. And I believe he will if he's given that chance, but time will tell. We'll see what we do, whether we move on with Zamir White or we draft a running back or we re-sign him, whatever. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see in the offseason. Hunter Renfro, I mean, we were all disappointed with him and how he was involved. And Even when he got his opportunity, he wasn't really producing the way the Hunter Renfro of old. As a whole, I think his Raider career was a success, but like the last 2 seasons has been disappointing. So you could throw his name out there. I don't know if he's going to be back. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But if I'm going to give an award, I mean, I like your answer, Solo. I'm 100% there with you. But I'm not going to limit this just to players. I'm going to throw coaches into the box, and I'm right there with you on 6. Josh McDumbfuck gets it for me.
Hey, I agree with you guys though. So you can kind of type it in on me too. So, but God, man,
right, Mr. Offensive Guru. You know, when I think about it, I saw more creativity from Bo Hardigree, and that tells you something, right? God, I hate
He
that
never
guy.
called plays before in his life. That's the worst part about it. Oh my God.
Offensive court.
Offensive Guru. Take your ass back to New England and stay there, and don't ever, ever come back. And if you ever come back in any form of coaching position or whatever it might be for some other team, then the fuck with you. I hope we put you to the sword, you bitch. God, I hate that guy.
I agree.
Fuck him. Anyway.
2 times.
3 times. 4 times. No. All right. Defensive
At least
side.
AR didn't talk about his family.
Anyways, O-line did good as whole, but James was on his own. Yeah, he's another name that disappointed. I mean, there's a lot of names on offense that disappointed and should have been better. Should have, could have, but they weren't. We'll move on to the defensive side of the ball. So defense. What say you guys? I'll let you go first, on 6.
I mean, there's only one fucking name that pops into my head, and this is another fucking moron that Josh McDaniels brought in here. Can we all say this name together? Marcus I didn't want to disappear, not tackle no one. Peters. Holy fuck, guys. Just think about this, guys. We really let go of Rock Ya-Sin to bring Marcus fucking Peters that doesn't fucking tackle or do anything, right? Like, what the fuck are you thinking, Josh McDaniels? Right? But what happened when AP came in here? He seen he wasn't putting his 100% on the field. He got in his fucking face. He said, you want to get out of here? Then get the fuck out of here. He fucking started pounding and talking shit. Well, get the fuck into the locker room. And what happened after that? Thank you to the Patriots for fucking getting rid of Jack Jones. And he fell right into our lap. So if it wasn't for Marcus Peters retarded ass doing what he did, we wouldn't have Jack Jones. So I want to take this second and thank Marcus Peters for being a fucking lazy ass son of a bitch. And I'm glad he fucking left that 24. Because he was putting so much disrespect to that 24 that Charles Woodson, Willie Brown, even Jonathan Abram were rolling over in their fucking grave.
Right.
From that awful talent and waste of energy wearing that 24 jersey. So the only person that I can think of and that I only deserve that goes in that dud list is Marcus fucking Peters. I don't want to tackle no one, and I'm just here looking good wearing the silver and black.
Facts. Couldn't said it any better. And shout out to my guy Tatted, who's in the building. That's my Australian fellow Raider fan over there. My brother, salute to you. Good to see you in the feed. Hope all is well. Matt Marinovich, Tyree Wilson, or Amik. Amik's an interesting one. I thought like he did okay for the most part, but okay. I appreciate your answer. Marcus Peters, Circus. Waller is a better rapper than McDaniels is a head coach. Let that sink in, right?
Oh, shit.
And that's my guy Tatted right there. Salute, battle, and chat. Hope everyone's having a good day / night. My man. Shout out to Tatted. That's my dude right there. My guy. Raider Bob, good to see you in the feed, my friend. Hope all is well with you. Good to see you. All right, Solo. More the same.
Well,
or you got a different answer.
From the TRS chat, everybody knows who I'm going to say right now. It's not. You're not curious. You know what's going to be said here. I'm sorry. It's Tyree Wilson. It's nothing else to discuss here. Marcus Peters, okay, we didn't have high hopes on him anyway. We knew that the other teams didn't pick him up, so we already knew, all right, he's just a pickup just for us, you know. But I gotta say, Tyree Wilson, man, for a guy to be the number 7 pick in the draft and to come in and literally is just having shove matches every game and never gets any sacks. I mean, assists and all that stuff is nice, but we brought you in to get sacks. We brought you in to help Max Crosby to get some pressure on these quarterbacks in the AFC West. So, listen, man, I know he's a rookie. I know he was hurt. I know he was thrown in with the debacle with Chandler Jones and all the stuff he had going on. But listen, I can't get over that. You're a number 7 pick. We need production. If your foot hurt, don't get on the damn field. I'm sorry. It's that simple for me. So after Marcus Peters, to me, Tyree Wilson. That's who it is.
Sorry, not sorry, right?
Right.
And I'm there, right there with you. And like I said, and I'm sure you share these sentiments too, Solo. We're still going to give him time. It's still early days.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to give him time.
You know, with consideration, like, I mean, I'm right there with you. And it's a scary thought that, like, even Cleve Farrell produced more and was more productive than Tyree Wilson. Shit, even Arden Key to a point may have been more productive. And that scares me. You know what I mean? Because those guys didn't pan out in the long run for us specifically. And yeah, I want more from Tyree Wilson. Like, the expectation is there, being that you were drafted in the top 10, like I said. And considerations, first year considerations, he was injured, but I'm right there with you. And when we look at like how he produced at defensive tackle, like, he did okay. He did decent. I mean, he didn't light the house on fire, in my personal opinion. But like, how much of that was attributed to the defense as a whole doing their thing? I mean, you got Max mother freaking Crosby at one end. You got Malcolm motherfucking Kuntz doing his thing on the other side. You know what I mean? You got these guys that like did okay, like with you know, that came out of nowhere, that like I had no expectation. Guys like Adam Butler, guys like who's the other cat? The nose tackle, defensive tackle. Jenkins.
Jenkins.
They were, you know, reasonably productive considering nobody talked about them in the offseason. Absolutely nobody. Shout out to my boy Nutty Nate. He was talking about either Butler or Jenkins when nobody else was. But as for the award, I mean, for me, it's a shoo-in. It's Mr. Matador himself, Marcus Matador Peters. I mean, I had hopes when we signed Peters that he could be reasonably productive. I mean, we needed that veteran presence on the corner, on the secondary room, specifically cornerback, and I was hopeful he could be at least a fraction of the player he once was. Because at one point in time, he was one of the better cornerbacks in the league from a coverage perspective.
Once upon a time,
and he just wasn't that anymore, and it was glaringly obvious. And I think that, and coupled with his possibly his attitude, AP had seen enough, and he was quick to show him the door. See you later, goodbye, get your ass out of here. So Marcus Peters, yeah, what a disappointment, and a big stain on the number 2-4 number. And hopefully the next 2-4 can at least be a Michael Huff kind of guy, or even Jonathan Abram. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowhere near lived up to the legacy that was left by the likes of Charles Woodson, by the likes of Willie Brown, and even that other guy. Who was the other guy we spoke of back in the day? Went on to be an actor on 6.
Oh, damn, I forgot. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but he was highly productive back in the 60s, 70s, I think. But anyways, as a conversation for another day. But shout out to Popeye, my man. Chandler Jones, give me some chon-chon. That's why he's sick on a sick one, Vato Loco. Salute to you, Popeye. Our favorite troll has entered the chat. Appreciate you, brother. Raider Joe, that's my man, my guy. Even Abram was better than Peters. Yeah, for sure. Facts. Raider Joe, I hope you're well, my man. Carl Weathers. No, it wasn't Carl Weathers. It was somebody else. Carl Weathers didn't wear the 2-4, but RIP Carl Weathers. I heard he recently passed. So shout out to the great man himself, Carl Weathers. Rest in peace, my friend.
We need to retire 2-4. Nobody can wear that number, man.
I wouldn't be mad with it. All eyes. I hear Kuntz was working with Max after hours. I don't know if Tyree has done so, but I haven't heard he's putting in the extra work. Well, let's wait and see. I mean, first year, hopefully second year can start the trend going upwards, right? All right, so we'll move on to best free agent. So who was your best free agent acquisition for last year? And I will start off with you, Ont6.
Me personally, brother, I think it's easy where everybody's gonna say it, so I'm gonna go a little different. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go with Marcus Epps. You know what I mean? He solidified our secondary. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for him, I think our secondary would have been freaking horrible and shit. Because remember last year we had Deron Harmon and Moreg, and how the Moreg looked and shit. You know what I mean? Horrible. Everybody thinks he's the bust. But, you know, Marcus Epps goes in here and solidifies the whole secondary. You know what I mean? He's a captain of the secondary. He was there and everybody lined up and stuff. So for me, it's going to be Marcus Epps.
Nice.
And that's the player I was talking about, Fred Williamson. He's a player that a lot of us younger Raider fans probably never heard of. But if you actually do your research, he had a very storied career and another great player to don the 24. So for anybody who's never heard of him, do your research. When I did mine, I was like blown away by what he was able to accomplish with the Raiders and his NFL career. And then he went on to be an actor for a while. But anyways, back to the now. So what was your answer?
Marcus Epps.
What did you say? Marcus Epps. Okay, that's what's up.
Nice.
All right. I'll go next. Yeah, Marcus Epps was a pleasant surprise. I mean, him and Trayvon Morrig, I thought, like, with his third-year leap, I thought they did very well as a safety duo. I mean, the best safety duo we've had for a while. Like, you know, we had Charles Woodson come back for a while, and he was good, but he didn't really have anybody on the other side. I mean, Reggie Nelson did okay for a while, but for me, I like the duo of Tyvon Branch and Michael Huff. That, for me, was the best safety duo we'd had in my time as a Raider fan, but last year's duo was very impressive, and it was good to see with Epps and Morrig. But in terms of best free agent, Jacoby Myers, I thought was very impressive. I mean, there was quite a bit of hype, like from some content creators, and I hadn't really watched too much of Jacoby Myers play because I don't watch too much much football outside of Raider football. However, he did produce and he did solidify that second wide receiver role. Whether it can be more than that, time will tell. But very impressed by him. But I'm gonna have to go with my boy Jack Jones. The way he came hot out of the gate, and just some of the plays he was able to make. I mean, I haven't been this excited for a corner since we had Dave Amerson. I thought he was going to be the guy, and he was that dude for a little while. He was doing things much similar to Jack Jones in the early stages of like his Raider tenure until he fell off. But with Jack Jones, like, the sky's the limit with what he can do, as long as he keeps his off the field issues in check, because that's what turned him into a free agent, and essentially I think that's what dropped his draft stock in that year's draft. But blessing in disguise, he came over to us, and he's in the best position to be able to be successful with his career as a whole, with Antonio Pierce being his guidance. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody's going to keep him in check, Antonio Pierce is the right guy. But Jack Jones, I see greatness from him. If he can keep playing the way he's playing, we might have our new Nnamdi Asomugha, right? We haven't had that lockdown, shutdown corner since Nnamdi left the door. We've been looking and looking and looking. We've been drafting guys like DJ Hayden, Garyon Conley, Damon freaking Arnett, and it just hasn't panned out. Have we hit the bullseye with Jack Jones? You know what? I think we have, and I'm very confident he can be the next great Raider corner. And so far, he's shown that. So the sky's the limit for him. Let's see how it pans out. And shout out to Angel. Salute to you. Good to see you in the feed. What's good, fellas? Just stopping by to salute you guys. Salute to the Raider Nation family. Appreciate you, brother. I'm just going to read out the comment here. There's a lot of hate with Myers because he was a former Patriot. People let that go quick once he produced. Well, I didn't hate him so much. It was just like I didn't really know too much about him. I could only look at the stats. You know what I mean? And it's unfair for me to judge a player just by Google statting. I don't like to do that. Like, I'd rather, have a give him a fair assessment, but he definitely showed out when he came over to us. So shout out to Jacoby Myers. Like, you could put him there and I wouldn't be mad, but for me, my answer is Jack Jones. Anyways, Raider Solo, what say you, brother?
I like both of you guys' picks on that one, so I can't disagree with either one. But if we're going to say best free agent signing, you know, I'm looking at the player who made the most impact when we signed him that we didn't expect to do so much. But I'm going with Jacoby Myers, man. You know, for this guy to come in, first game, get laid out and knocked out, you know, and still produce with no matter who the quarterback was, whether it was Aiden O'Connell, Brian Hoyer, or Jimmy G, it didn't matter. This guy was effective. Now, I'm thinking to myself, if we didn't have Jacoby Myers, who was going to be the second option? Who would have been that guy? Who would have stepped up? Because Renfro didn't. We knew. Right. We thought Michael Mayer would have been a great option for us, and we had a lot of good guys in the preseason. Wilfork, but for Jacoby Myers to step up and carry the bulk of the load of points for this team, scoring touchdown after touchdown, I have to give it to him because that without him on his offense, I don't know if Devontae would have been as open as he was, and I don't think Jacoby would have been as open as he was without Devontae. So I just think they both go hand in hand. But if I had to say the best free agent signing we had, I think it was Jacoby Myers by far.
Good answer.
There's a toss-up between him and Robert Spillane. So, but I'm gonna go with Jacoby Myers.
Shit, I shouldn't forget about Robert Spillane. Yeah, he's definitely a guy we could throw in there. I mean, yeah, Robert Spillane, a guy I had little expectation for, but he did his thing. I mean, you know, I could almost give him that award as a whole. He's been the best linebacker we've had, you know, for the last decade and a bit, outside of Denzel Perryman. I mean, the argument could be there, like who was better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robert Spillane did his thing, and he's definitely a name that could be in consideration. So there were some guys who did really well in terms of free agent acquisitions. So like, yeah, gee, now you're making me question. Like, I completely forgot about Robert Spillane.
Yeah,
that's all I thought you were gonna say.
You know what? I'm gonna give it to Robert Spillane just as a whole because he was there the whole season. Is that Spillane with 2 L's? I'm gonna have to Google it.
Yeah,
I think it's 2 L's. Yeah,
Spillane. I think it's 2. I'm gonna on the
It is 2 L's. All right, cool. We want to make sure we get our names right here. Put some respect on their name, right?
That's a fact.
All right, so our last one, breakout player. So who was the breakout player for the season? Whether it was a guy who was already on our roster or a guy who came over as a free agent and played better than expected. What say you, Ont6? I'll go with you first.
I mean, the one that really just comes to mind, because in the beginning of the season, nobody really thought he was going to do anything, especially because he was in Josh McDaniels' doghouse and shit, and that's Malcolm Kuntz. Because nobody literally can stand here and really say they really were going to think Malcolm Kuntz was going to go off the way he did. I certainly didn't. I thought he was going to fucking play the season and just get cut after his rookie deal. And now he's looking at a brand new contract after this year. If he does this again, we're going to have to pay him again. And now we have our bookends and we have somebody along the other side of Max Crosby to get after the quarterback. And when the last time we made the playoff run, what do we had? We had 2 good defensive pass rushers, Maxon and Gogway. So hopefully we're headed in the right direction, this unit coming together. And the other thing is, too, I think a lot of people don't realize this is going to be our 3rd year under Patrick Graham's defense. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just think about that, how much along we're going to be in this defense. So
I can get with that. That's cool.
All right, I'll go next, and then Solo, you can have a turn going last this time.
That's cool.
You know what? Kuntz is a very good answer, and I'd be willing to give him that award. I mean, the whole Chandler Jones situation was a blessing in disguise. I mean, you know, when all that crap happened before the season, I was very vocal on the live scene about, like, you know, I want it to be Kuntz season. I think it's Kuntz's time to shine, being that I wasn't too confident with Tyree Wilson producing straight away and being someone who could solidify the other side of the defensive side of the ball, defensive line. Kuntz, like for me, it was always a case of like he never lacked effort. It was just I just wanted him to finish, and it was more of the same up until the second half of the season. After, well, post Josh McDumfuck, Malcolm Kuntz was playing like a house on fire and was finally being the finisher that, like, you know, I never imagined he could be. Like for me, I always said Malcolm Kuntz's ceiling was like a Benson Mayoa type player who would be a good rotational player, could get some sacks and just be a good role player. I didn't expect that like he could solidify that defensive end spot in time, but it looks like he could be that guy. And I'm very happy and pleased with Malcolm Kuntz as a breakout player. There's a few others like that come to mind, like Trayvon Morik. I thought he did very well in his third year, taking that third-year leap. Divine Diablo, like the jury's still out on him, but I thought he had a decent third-year leap as well. You could throw Jacoby Myers maybe as a breakout player to a point. Zamir White, a guy I was heavily critical of. I still don't believe he's the guy moving forward, but he definitely proved me wrong that he can play if given the opportunity. And I really liked what I saw from him in the last quarter of last season. I don't think I'm missing anybody else. But, you know, I gave Robert Spillane, I gave Robert Spillane the best free agent award because I want to give breakout player to Jack Jones. Like,
nice.
No,
for the reasons I highlighted before, like just some of those plays he was making and just the way he was so capable of playing that lockdown, shutdown role. I mean, you know, we give shout outs to like how he was able to intercept the ball, but like, do you remember that play at the was it again in the Chiefs game where Amik Robertson was burnt toast and the guy got behind him and was running all the way to the end zone, would have taken it to the house, but Jack Jones, like a bat out of hell, came from the other side of the field from off his assignment, ran towards where the ball was being thrown. And do you remember when he leaped up in the air and he swatted away? Like, get that shit up out of here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just stuff you cannot teach. Like, that kind of playmaking, situational awareness, and being able to get to the ball. Like, it's not just natural ability or ability that's been coached. That's also, like we say in within the Raider Nation, the will to win. You know what I mean? It takes a winner and true will to be able to make plays like that, much like Max Crosby does time in and time out. You know what I mean? Even when he was hurt, you know what I'm saying? He was able to will himself to be able to be productive at the elite level. So Jack Jones is my answer. But Malcolm Kuntz is a name you could definitely throw out there. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Nice.
Solid.
Well, I agree again with you guys. But I especially agree with you, AR. Jack Jones, the breakout player who came out of nowhere and, you know, changed the dynamic of this defense. You know, this defense was already on the way up. You know, we was making some adjustments and we was getting better. But when Jack Jones showed up, it just seemed like the swagger changed. It seemed like it was more aggression. It was more, you know, we was more of a threat at that point. You know, just like that play you was talking about. I remember that play, but you know, the pick sixes, I couldn't tell you the last time I seen a pick six, man, on this team. I couldn't tell you. And just to get pick sixes in, you know, back-to-back weeks, man, that's crazy. So the breakout player, man, I've got to give it to Jack Jones, man. This guy, I'm just so glad that the Patriots released him and we got the chance to have him. So I hope he stays for a long time. I'm just glad AP found him and brought him to the team. But for him to come on this team and, you know, basically take on a leadership role as well, you know, I got to give it to Jack Jones. I agree with you, AR. For sure.
Yeah, Jack Jones, he's going to be a great Raider for years to come if he can keep his off the field issues in check.
Got to keep him in check.
For sure, yeah. Just going to favorite player of the year. All right, we'll just spitball that just for the moment. Yeah, I'd have to give it to Jack Jones. That pick six would be my fave player of the year. I mean, not just what he did, but how he did it. I mean, that's one of, if not the best defensive play I've seen in my time as a Raider fan. Yeah, there it is. You know what I'm saying? And you were asking, like, the last time we scored a pick 6, I think it might have been Dave Emerson that won against the Chiefs. I can't think of one after that, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody in the panel can remember one outside of that, or anyone in the chat, you know what I mean? So
when Eric Harris picked off Phillip Rivers, and he had the 3 interception game in Oakland. Remember that? You remember?
Yeah, are you talking about Eric Harris?
Yeah, Eric Harris. Huh?
Yeah, but did he take one to the house?
Yeah, he took one to the house that game.
Okay. All right. Well, Eric Harris, my bad. I remembered he got like 2. He should have had 3, but I don't remember he took one back to the crib. But okay.
I believe so. I might be wrong, but I believe so.
Eric Harris have won against the Colts. Maybe I don't know. I remember that game. Just a little bit of a side note. I was actually supposed to go to that game live, but work conflicted. I actually bought my tickets to sit in the black hole for that Thursday night football game. That's why I remember it so well as it being a memorable game. But work conflicted, and I had to reschedule when I came to America. I went to a game later that season, which was their last home win in Oakland, which was against the Bengals. But the game against the Chargers, that one where he had 2 interceptions, and when Cleve Farrell had his best game as a Raider, and Carl Joseph, I believe, got the game-sealing interception. I was supposed to be at that game, and I remember watching that game on the TV thinking, oh, my God, this is such a great game, and I was supposed to be there in the black hole.
I was there. The 13th row.
I wish I was there. And Lord Rachida, salute to you. Good to see you in the feed, my friend.
Right.
Solo, what was your play of the year?
I kind of got 2 because we had some great plays this year, despite our record and the final solution of everything, of how everything played out, whatever. I like that. I really love that Amik interception against Jordan Love, that last play of the game. For him to seal the game and finish that game out against Jordan Love, I thought, and just for him to, he got beat on the play initially, and for him to catch back up with him, turn around, catch the interception, because I honestly thought we was gonna lose that game. I thought it was gonna be some Jordan Love BS going on, and he was gonna get a touchdown on the last drive. Look what he did in the playoffs. Jordan Love looked good this year. So I think the Amik play, outside of the Max play, the safety on the Patriots, is one of those 2. So I'll go with the Amik play though.
Good answers. Yeah, that was world-class athleticism showed by Amik Robertson. Is one thing to be able to be in that position, but to make the leap and the jump and the interception and the way he executed it, world-class. And I know, I can't remember who it was who mentioned Amik. I think it was Marinovich. He did take some licks throughout the season, and he has done throughout his Raider career, which is why I was very critical of Amik in his first 2 seasons. But it's like I keep saying, for all Amik's flaws and for everything, like for every punch he takes in year 3 and year 4, he learned how to punch back. He's going to make a play in return to kind of, balance it out. So shout out to Amik. But what's your answer on 6? You want to show the statue again?
I'll share it again. But there's for me, the best moment, because my brother's a Patriots fan, is the Max Crosby safety, because that's 2 years in a row we beat the Patriots after they beat us for like 10 in a row. I don't even know the last time we even beat them. That safety was just worth every dollar that we paid Josh McDaniel over the last 2 years, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Just to see Max Crosby get that safety after the year before when Chandler Jones gave that stiff arm to fucking Mac Jones on the way to the end zone. You know what I mean? Was just an incredible moment. That's one of the best moments that I'm gonna remember, that besides the Jack Jones interception.
Right, for sure. Yeah, Space Beast is comment. It's a good year when you have 3 different best free agents and 2 major breakout players. I wouldn't necessarily call it a good year, with all things considered, but like it gives us hope for the future, right? There's players that we can build around, and hopefully it can continue to be the same. And Leo, my boy Amik jumped to the heavens on that one. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, world-class athleticism. That's things you just can't teach. You either got it or you don't. And Amik definitely showed it on that play. All right, to round it off, final grade. I'll start with you, Solar. As a whole, with everything considered, what would you grade last season? And everybody in the chat, if you want to share yours as well.
You know, it's been one hell of a season, man. And, you know, it wouldn't be like that if that's the Raider way. It's always some craziness going on. You got some dynamic plays here and there, you know, and you got some Chandler Jones BS like that type of stuff going on. That's normal for the Raiders. But overall, man, you know,
shout out Jason.
Being 1 or 2 games short of making the playoffs, going through all the circumstances we've been through, and we still prevailed. And, you know, had the highest scoring, the most points in franchise history this year, you know, last season. And, you know, I wouldn't say I was happy with the season, but I wouldn't say I was completely disappointed either. So if I'm going to give it a grade due to all the circumstances we had to deal with, bringing in AP, thank God for AP, man.
Thank the heavens.
I'm gonna give it a B-.
Oh, that's a big jump. Gotcha. Ont6.
For me, I'm gonna go C+ because we were this close to make the playoffs. If we would have made the playoffs, I would have given him a B. If we would have made the Super Bowl, I would have said an A. You know what I mean? Just on my grading scale. But I'm gonna give him a C+ because we were this close from making the playoffs. And all the circumstances that we've been through, I don't think it was a crazier season than that year that we lost John Gruden and Henry Ruggs did what he did, though. So shout out to this team for overcoming adversity. And I think a lot of players are still from that team that were here to guide this team. So for me, I'm gonna give it a C+.
Nice.
Oh, hey, I just want to take a moment here because I just got a notification on my watch. Shout out to Leo Chilinus. He gave me my first donation live on stream, and
Leo,
you know, that's something that that was a goal of mine, and just hear me out. It's not about the money, which I do appreciate, but it's more about the sentiment that somebody believes in you enough to want to invest in you. You know, that was always a goal of mine, and like
that's
I
nice.
appreciate that, Cheeto. Like it means more than you know, and yeah, like thank you from the bottom of my heart. I don't take that for granted. So, you know, thank you, my friend. And
that's nice.
Yeah, one extra gold kick. So, my man. So thank you very much. Like I know a lot of content creators do this, and they get super chats and all that, which, you know, it's good to see. But like for me, like I said, like for me, it's not about the money. It's about the sentiment, and that someone believes in you enough to want to be willing to invest in you. You know what I'm saying? And I know Ont6 has done that for me as well behind the scenes, and I appreciate that. Ont6, I don't take it for granted. I don't take his support for granted. I don't take anybody's support for granted. So shout out to Leo. I love you, man. I appreciate it, and I won't forget it for sure. Thank you, my friend.
Nice. Shout out to Leo.
Shout out to Leo. Appreciate you, brother. And if there's a moderator in the chat, if you could share out his channel, please, that would be very much appreciated. You know, that's the least I can do for now, but I will repay the favor, my friend. You just give me time. All right, so back to the final grade. I'm gonna have to be objective to you guys. I mean, like, granted, like when AP took the helm, like it gave us hope for the future, and it definitely turned the team around for the better. Everything just seemed to be so much better under his watch. We didn't make it to the playoffs. We were still in the hunt late in the season, with all things considered, when everything we went through, especially during the McDaniels regime. But with what, as a whole, like the absolute disaster that was the Josh McDaniels era and what was happening with the team and where we were at halfway through the season, and the fact that our offense had just completely done a 180, which it had been for the last decade, being a point of strength to being a point of weakness, it was just inexcusable. And like this, we should have been, these last two seasons, there was no reason why we couldn't have been in the playoff hunt, at least like making the playoffs, whether we were eliminated first round or we made it past the first round. Like that wasn't an unreasonable expectation, but to see our team nosedive the way they did, and it took AP to resurrect this team, so to say, as well as the players doing their thing and Patrick Graham. Like, with all things considered, like the way we played post McDaniels can only bump it up so far. For me, the final grade is a C-, and that's being generous, being how absolutely disastrous this team was looking before said coaching change. So yeah, it's been a disappointing year for me. I expected more, and the fact that we didn't. Well, I actually, you know what? I wasn't expecting more. I said it a few times in the live scene that like I was expecting a rough ride.
You 7 games.
How many times did I say that on 6? I expected a rough ride, so buckle up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When a lot of these cats were saying we were going to be winning games, we're going to be winning 12, 14, 13 games. I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't have a good feeling about it, and it took for that coaching change to start to bring out the best in the team, and sure enough, it was a rough ride. So C- for me would be my final grade.
You was spot on. I think you said we was going to win 7 games this year, so you was like 1 a game off, I think.
But
well, look, I'm not the guy. I'm not the type of guy or content creator who likes to say "I told you so" when it's results that are detrimental to the rate of success. You know what I mean? Right. I want to be wrong about those things. I don't want to be right about like our team underperforming or our team losing or certain players not turning out to be as good as what other players or other people think that they are when I don't see much in them. Like, I mean, for example, Zamir White, I've been the heaviest critique on the scene, and to see him slowly emerge at the last quarter of the season, fantastic. I'm happy to say I was wrong about that. I'm happy to say I was wrong about Patrick Graham. But in terms of that take, like, unfortunately, and I want to stress, very unfortunately, turned out I was right. But you know what? It's going to be a bright day moving on under the AP. We just got to give him time. So there we have it, folks. That's the final grades. I mean, we can all see the screen there. I, for one, am pretty happy with that. Got all the names for our said categories. And, you know, everyone in the chat, I appreciate you all coming for the ride in that. Just going to share that for another 5-10 seconds, and then I might move back to wrapping things up. Is there anything you guys want to share with that screen before I move on? And anybody in the chat, if you want to leave a comment?
No, that's cool. I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of fun. And we did shoot longer than what I anticipated. So I appreciate you guys giving me your time. You know, I know it's getting late for Ont6. You just finished work as well as Raider Solo. So appreciate you guys and everyone in the chat. Just going to change the layout, and then we will share some final thoughts and wrap things up. So just give me a mo. And here we go. All right. So any last thoughts? I'll start with you, Ont6, before we close it off.
I mean, for me, more than anything, I'm just excitement for this offseason and to see everything that's going to happen. Now that we finally got the head coach we all wanted and we all need is AP in here. You know what I mean? I'm just excited to see where this team can go, especially after what I've seen last season. And that's the one thing that I am thankful for, that we did hire AP. If not, we would have had another coaching change. We'll have another rebuild. And if not, we're not going to have a rebuild. We have a retooling of the offense. And I really could see us being in playoff contention if Mr. Getty over here gets the offense going in the right direction, which at the moment I'm not too sure about, just like I wasn't too sure about Patrick Graham when we hired him. But look at that how that turned out. But for now, I'm just excited. I can't wait to us to see what we do in free agency, and for the day that we cut Jimmy Garoppolo and get him out of here, so we can save that money.
For sure. Appreciate you, Ont6, as always. I'm going to give the floor to you, Solo. Share your final takes and where we can all find you. So give me a mo. We'll put you on Solo. Raider Solo. Being Solo. There we go. Talk to him.
Yeah, man. You know, we had an up and down season, man. You know, we didn't expect this. You know, we didn't see the things coming that happened, but you know, going into this next season, I can honestly say I'm happy for what we got. I'm happy with this core that we have. I'm happy to still have Devontae around. I'm happy that we got Max Crosby, man. That's my MVP. No matter what, Defensive Player of the Year, that's my guy. I don't care who it is, that's my guy. So look, Raider Nation, we got a tough division. We play tough teams every year. We deal with the champions, the Chiefs, and you know, for us to go forward, we gotta believe, we gotta understand that it's gonna take some time to get where we need to get to. And I believe we finally got the coach that we need to get to that point. Man, just stay tuned and stay locked in, y'all. It's nothing greater than a Raider. Y'all can follow me on YouTube at Solo Empire 4L. Again, that's Solo Empire 4L, man. I got great content coming for you real soon this season. Man, just stay tuned, stay locked in. And AR, I've been a fan of your show for a while, and it's just my pleasure to be here with you. And I'm happy that I'm here for your first, your first donation. So shout out to Leo, shout out to you, shout out to TRS, man. I enjoyed the show. Shout out to Ont6. Man, I love you guys. Shout out to the nation, man. Stay down. We some loyal fans. We go through a lot, but you know, win, lose, or tie. Raider Nation till we die, man. Hold it down, Raider Nation. We gonna take over soon.
Love it, Solo. Thank you very much, my friend. Couldn't have said it any better. I love that one. Nothing greater than being a Raider. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing greater than being a Raider.
Any better? I mean, it's been a tough ride. I mean, it sounds like we both started being Raider fans around the same time. 2009 for me, 2010 for you. Ont6, you've been a lifelong Raider fan. And, you know, it's been a very turbulent ride, to say the least. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. And it's going to make the day when we get to where we want to be, you know what I mean, to the promised land, that much sweeter. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I have all the confidence and all the faith in the world that this new regime, this new team that we're going to have moving forward into the horizon, we will get there. It's just going to take us time. How much time, we will see. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But like I said, I'm willing to bet my Raider fandom. I have never felt this good under this leadership, under the leadership we have now, and the pieces that we have that we can build around to get where we want to be in time. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Antonio Pierce. Just shout out to him with that letter that he penned to the nation. I mean, we all saw that, right? I mean, one of the things he said, and I'm paraphrasing, is we want a team that, you know, people are going to know that can't be fucked with. And he actually put that fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's the guy, man.
He's that guy. I mean, what other coach has said that?
That's my
head coach right there. I love it. I love every word of that letter. And for me, it just screams like sincerity, genuine passion to be a Raider. And that's what you want from a head coach, not this dumb fuck that we had in the door last time around. You know what I'm saying? It was just here to get a paycheck. Anywho, patience, Raider Nation. We're going to get there. Can't wait for the free agency period. Then on to the draft. You will see us doing some more content. Raider Solo. Go chuck him a like and subscribe. My guy does some short, concise videos to the point. And if that's more your MO, please go over there and show him some love. You know what it is with my channel. Like, I haven't been as consistent with lives, but, you know, I will push out content more and more when I get the chance. You know, life keeps you busy. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, come towards free agency and the draft, I will start getting more active. And of course, my boy Ont6, you can find him on our IG as well as on our lives. You know, everybody loves his takes, so yeah, appreciate it. And everybody in the chat, I see you all. I love you all. I can't do this without you. It means everything to us. And yeah, one last shout out to Leo. Appreciate you, brother. You know,
for sure.
I can't thank you enough. You know, it's a moment during my Raider career for you, so I will not forget. And very much appreciate it. So, Anyways, gang, that's it for now. Off we go and sail into the sunset towards a brand new day and newfound glory. We will get there. Like I said, bank on it. Anyways, I'm Afakasi Raider. To my left, Ont6. To my right, Raider Solo. Raider Nation for life. Win, lose, or tie. You know what time it is. Raider motherfucking Nation till we what?
Till we die,
fucking
baby.
die. Raider! Let's fucking go. I'm out.
Let's go. All right, peace, chat. We'll catch you on the flip side for sure. All right, take care.